All right, we are live for another episode of Real Estate Junkies Podcast. Today we are with Nicole Mashini, and we are going to dive into the world of creative financing and homeownership hacks for people who don't fit the box when it comes to financing. With dual licenses in California and Michigan and over 25 years of experience, Nicole has mastered the art of turning challenges into opportunities when it comes to real estate purchases, especially when it comes to home ownership through debt consolidation. As a champion for realtors and clients alike, Nicole shares her secrets on transforming non-mortgageable prospects into successful homeowners, boosting sales, and achieving dreams along the way. Whether you are a realtor looking to expand your business or a potential homeowner navigating financial hurdles, this episode is a gold mine for the insights that Nicole has to bring and the strategies she will share with us today. So, Nicole, welcome to the podcast finally. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. Before we begin, tell us a little bit about your experience in real estate, how you got started. I know the story, but if you could briefly tell us the story behind you getting into real estate and how has it, that journey been for you over the last 25 years and what are you up to now?
I joke with everybody and I tell everybody I'm born, baptized, and raised into real estate. My parents were one of the first husband-wife real estate teams recognized by the National Association of Realtors. So naturally, I'm going to follow in that path. My dad had a TV show and a radio show for Middle Eastern people on what you should do when you come to America. Stop putting money in your mattress. You got to put your money in the bank account. And you have to apply for credit cards and you have to use
Mhm.
the credit cards. And that's
Yeah.
basically how I got started. So my dad and mom put me to work in the office when I was 16 years old as a receptionist and kind of went from there. When I
Wow.
was 17, I took the class. When I turned 18, I took the test and failed and failed and
Mm.
failed for the next 5 years. I laugh with everybody. I was truly persistent. It took me 5 years and 9 times in Michigan to pass the test.
Wow.
Mhm.
9 times.
But in
How
that
dare you.
meantime, my dad made me go to work for the mortgage company that was with Century 21 and learn the mortgage industry, which is the best thing that ever happened to my career.
Mm. Wow. And now that I know you were for a brief amount of time, you were in California, you got licensed there, you practiced there, and now you're back in Michigan. Now, before we get into talking about, home ownership, could you start by explaining what creative financing is? See, a lot of consumers and even real estate agents, they don't understand that. And how'd you come across, being in mortgage industry, having the background? How did you, what creative financing means in the context of real estate, like home ownership, and why it's an important tool for realtors today in this
So,
market?
first, when we say creative financing, that's basically anybody who's quote unquote out of the box. And what is in the box is basically 640 and up FICO score, a
Mhm.
W-2 or wage earner.
Yeah.
And so the majority of the people these days do not have a 640 FICO score and
Yeah.
or they're self-employed and they think that they cannot get a home and they can get a home. It's just they need somebody to basically guide them and
Mhm.
show them how they
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
So it's
And
very important for
yeah.
realtors to know the different options that are out
Mm.
there. And if they don't know how to do the loan themselves, at least they know who they can go to and where they can guide them.
So, in your experience, what are some common financial hurdles or mistakes people make, like, buyers, home buyers that they face, and how do you think real estate agents should help them navigate these challenges and make sure that they prevent those problems before they run into, big debt or, being unqualified?
So a bunch of challenges that I face over the years is, there's 4 main ones that I've come across. Number
Mm.
1 is people think they don't have money for a down payment.
Yeah.
Sidebar is we have down
Mm.
payment assistance.
Mhm.
The second thing is a lot of people say, oh, I'm self-employed. And the rule of thumb when you're self-employed is that you need 2 years tax returns and you have to
Yeah.
average out those tax returns over the 2 years, and that's your income.
Mhm.
Sidebar is there are programs that will take 1 year tax return and people can get in with as little as 5% down.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't realize that they are making enough money. So a lot of people, for example, are making 40,000 a year salary and they think they can never
Mm.
get something.
Yeah.
Well, people don't realize that if you buy a duplex or a triplex, the lender can use 75% of the
Mhm.
income from the other property to help
Yeah.
that person qualify to get into that
Mhm.
property, basically.
Wow.
And the fourth biggest thing is what, became my business model is low FICO scores.
Yeah.
So many people have way too much debt
Mhm.
and don't know how to get control of it,
Yeah.
or so much in collections that they can't get out of it.
Mhm. Wow. And could you share now your approach now that you've been in the whole finance, and mortgage side of business and also real estate side of business? How, even if people were to run into those financial hurdles and do wait too long thinking that they need more high down payment, or wait too long thinking their credit score doesn't qualify, and then they run into accumulating debt, right? So when they are in this situation, what should us as real estate agents, what should be our approach to debt? What you guys are doing with taking someone's debt, helping them consolidate that, right? And to have a chance to home ownership altogether, because for a lot of people think it's game over, I will never become a homeowner again, right? How does this method work to increase their mortgage ability?
So basically, it comes down to communication.
Hmm.
Realtors drive the boat when it comes to the real estate transaction, and people always trust the realtor. When you're speaking with people and you hear, "Oh, I can't because I have too much in debt," open the conversation with them in a calm manner so nobody feels that you are trying to belittle them or put them down, and I
Yeah.
think that our approach to it is the first thing that we need to look at.
Hmm.
Once that's done and established, then we can talk with them about how much are they in debt. Then we need to establish, are you behind over 10,000? If somebody is behind in unsecured debt over 10,000, immediately that's the first sign that debt settlement is a great option. My
Hmm.
company is Second Start Financial, and we can just guide our clients to there. This
Hmm.
is what I do. I take people's clients and I turn it around and I tell them my stories and I
Hmm.
empathize with people because I've been in hard times.
Hmm.
I have I'm a single mother. I have been in bankruptcy. I have
Hmm.
been divorced. And
Hmm.
so all the stories and excuses, I hate to say
Yeah.
excuses, but that's what
Yeah.
people use.
Yeah.
We have to be able to empathize with them and say, "Hey, listen, there is a solution. You just have to do it. You have
Mhm.
to take the initiative and step forward."
Yeah. And now, how has of course, you have helped a lot of people over the years, figure out their finances, go over these financial hurdles. As you mentioned, how has offering either creative financing solution? I know you work with that too, and like debt, helping
Consolidation.
helping
Mhm.
someone consolidate their debt, help your business, or realtors that you have worked with uh, increase their sales, increase their business? How does that? I know how it is, but a lot of real estate agents, they're like, "Oh, I need to go for a deal that is gonna close now," right? They're constantly looking at now business, and they don't look at future business. So to tell us, like, if they were to take the approach of setting each person that they come across that is not qualified today, doesn't fit the box today, how can we help, helping them look at alternative ways of financing or consolidating their debt, help their future business or grow their business?
I am basically a fantastic proof of concept,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
I did 81,000 in real estate last year.
Yeah.
as a side hustle, as my
Yeah.
second job while running my other business.
Mhm.
And I did everything myself. I worked with each client, took the time,
Mhm.
sat with them, and then you can see in my streamline, I
Yeah.
went about 5 months with no commission. And that's tough for people, and that's why
Yeah.
I show and say that was my second business. But then all of a sudden, I had a $60,000 a month
Mhm.
commission.
Yeah.
And that's because all the people that I spent the time working with, it
Mm.
had all come to fruition in the same month,
Yeah.
ironically enough.
Wow.
But 81,000 as a second job is
Yeah.
very good
Yeah.
for people who are getting into it or who
Mhm.
need to increase their current sales because
Yeah.
we're all feeling that
Mhm.
impact of the high rates right now.
Yeah. And I think additional adding another $100,000 in GCI, helping people qualify that don't normally qualify, doesn't sound so bad. And
No,
reality is most real estate agents are probably leaving that money on the table because they come across people who don't qualify. They don't even take the approach of educating them and take the approach of helping them qualify with their credit, get their credit up, or even further, what you're doing, consolidating and controlling and managing their debt for them to be able to qualify in the future. And it's not like years, right? 5 months, not so bad. Typical real
exactly.
estate transaction goes for 3 months anyway. What's five adding 2 more months in helping someone truly financially? Most real estate transactions are more of a liability than it is of building equity. Not for everyone it's building equity, right? For depending on where you buy, what you buy, how much money you spend on what you buy, and what you're paying in rates would determine if it's you building wealth or accumulating liability, right? But in this case, you're helping people minimize their liability, manage their liability, and qualify for actually building equity and get into net positive with their wealth. Now, how has, do you have a success story where, either offering creative financing or helping people consolidate their debt made a significant difference for a client's path to homeownership?
I have so many fantastic stories, so many.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
let's
one of
hear
my
it.
favorite is, a lady who I helped 2 years ago, and I feel like she's a friend right now. I actually was helping her parents, and when her
Mm,
parents met me, they're like, "You have to meet our daughter."
mm,
So, I met with her name is Alexis, and her husband, and they were completely underwater. They had collections, they had this, they had that. And they were embarrassed. They didn't wanna talk to me. It's kinda like when you go to the dentist and you're like, "Oh, my breath smells, excuse me." It's an automatic thing that we say. When I sit with people who have bad credit, the first thing is they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed." They don't really wanna
they feel
talk about it. They
guilty.
don't wanna open up. I think the greatest thing is that I'm so empathetic because I've been through so many things myself, and we all have. I think the important thing is that we have to let people know that we've been in their shoes or that we know somebody close
Yeah.
to us who's been in their shoes. So I was able to help Alexis and her husband get into debt settlement. They got they got everything under control. And so
Mhm,
not I was able to get them into a house as a rental, and the landlord agreed to, sell them the house when they were ready. I was able to show a letter of explanation of why and how they fell into their hardship.
mhm,
But the most important thing is that I was able to show the landlord that they're on the right path and they are correcting it. And
mhm.
that's what I tell everybody right now. I come across so many renters and I'm like, don't bother putting an application. There's one rental property and there's 50 applicants. And of those 50 applicants, believe it or not, at least 20 of them are over 700 right now.
Yeah.
So why would that landlord look at you when they've got so many good ones? All
Yeah,
they're seeing is that you let something go and you were irresponsible.
yeah.
I was able to show that they were in a program and they were on the path that they
Mhm,
needed to be on to buy the property. So not only did they end up, well, they're in the midst of buying it right now and they'll close pretty soon. Now she opened her own business, her own daycare, and I did the lease for her daycare also.
wow.
Mhm.
Because she now she has financial leverage. She
Yes.
was able to manage her debt and consolidate her debt. Now now, the credit bar
Mhm.
or banks are looking at her as
Correct.
a potential
Correct.
uh, uh, entity that they would want to invest in. Now, what's your strategy on educating clients like that, or even realtors, on the benefits and process involved when it comes to debt consolidation?
What I'm doing right now is trying to get the word out there. I'm
Mhm.
trying to talk to as many agents, loan officer, and people as I possibly can.
Mhm.
I think I'm one of the first ones in Michigan. In California, it's pretty abundant. A lot of people
Yeah.
know about debt settlement, but Michigan is a little behind,
Yeah.
and we want to definitely get the word out there because the help is there. We just
Mhm.
don't know that the help is there, or we're fearful of what we're not aware of.
Mhm. Yeah, and what would you say? What are this? If realtors considering, oh, this is especially with the NAR settlement, especially with everything's going on, we do have to think outside of the box when it comes to generating more business opportunities, right? So realtors who are considering, hey, this could be a way where I could have additional, I don't know, 5 to 7 more deals this year, right? Qualifying these people. Let's just say you start now. We are in April. By probably August, September, you can have someone qualified, right? Um,
Absolutely.
what would you say some of the biggest challenges you have faced in implementing either creative financing strategies or debt settlement solutions for clients, and
Basically,
how have you overcame them?
it's just getting people to trust me.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that I'm able to empathize with them, and I'm cautious on who I am trying it with,
Mhm.
basically. So I'm not going to try and convince somebody that is pressed to get out of their home immediately within the next, 30 days.
Yeah.
I am starting my approach, and this is what I have been doing, as I start with the people who basically are the lowest risk, people
Mm.
who aren't pressed to get out of their house, but
Yeah.
who I know want to have a home.
Yeah.
And I basically tell them, give me a chance. What do you have to lose? Of course,
Mhm.
the answer is nothing because I made sure of that up front.
Yeah.
From that, I'm able to earn people's trust.
Mhm.
And so many people that I have helped have told those people and told those people. I have my most favorite one in California, I could tell you. She I have helped her from nothing, and 5 years later, she
Mhm.
has over 6 rental units now with me, and we
Yeah.
started from just her purchasing a home. She
Yeah.
calls me the home whisperer, and she has invited all of her friends and family to meet me. She had a huge barbecue. I literally sat like a like people were confessing to me everything that they did wrong with their home and their
Yeah.
credit, and I literally sat with
You
people
became the
one by
therapist.
one by one. Yes, like a therapist. And, it's exactly how I felt, but I was happy and honored, that she was happy enough with me that she invited me to her friends and family, and it just starts with one. All we have to do is talk to one person at a time, and we do that automatically.
Yeah.
I don't know one realtor who has not taken the time out of their day and sat with a client that ended up being a client that's not mortgageable or
Yeah.
rentable for that matter.
Mhm. Yeah.
Every single one of us, we call it the growing pains of real estate.
Yeah.
You have to go through it so that you know how to overcome it. And
Yeah.
this is a new tool that I'm trying to bring to the realtors and loan officers. You don't need to spend the amount of time that I was spending.
Yeah.
Spend a fourth of the amount of time and put them on the right path and follow up with them. Put
Mhm.
them on your drip campaign. Let those people see those homes of their dreams coming
Mhm.
in front of them in their email every day
Yeah.
with your
To
name and picture
motivate them
attached
to
to
take
it.
action, right? Yeah.
Yes. Check up with them every month. Are
Mhm.
you doing what Second Star Financial told you that you needed to do? Are you getting them this? Are you getting them that? Are you able to make an extra payment so it can get paid down faster?
Mhm.
That's what we need to do now, and it will come. Believe me, it will come.
Wow, and so what it sounds like to me, that hey, the initial challenge will be people trusting you, and you handle that by building a deeper relationship with them of care, providing value, showing them that you're wanting to help them. And once you do that, you can easily go over that hurdle. And I think real estate agents, whether you have a client that is mortgageable or not, you should be doing that regardless. You should be building a relationship of trust, so that way they can make confident decisions about the homeownership. Now, this is people who are not even qualified to become a homeowner. Of course, they would need to trust you to take action on what they need to do to qualify. So it's pretty much the same thing. But then once you do, you can build relationships that will, give you return on investment that you would make with them, right? So it's more about quality over quantity. I think most real estate agents, cold calling 500 people a day
Yes.
without having a conversation with anyone, building relationship with anyone, just looking for that one or two qualified conversations so they can go out to their appointments and take on listings, right? So they're going with the quantity, but what you are doing is, hey, you're spending your time, effort, and energy on one person, building trust, giving them the guidance, helping them make confident decisions, and then they become lifelong clients. Oh, of course, lifelong referral source, because they feel like you help them so much, right, in the biggest
Yes.
decision of their life. Now, having license in both California and Michigan, have you noticed any regional differences when it comes to, consumer psychology related to alternative financing or debt settlement?
Yes, absolutely. California is a lot more analytical.
Hmm.
California as a whole is a completely it's almost like it's a different world.
Yeah.
They like everything that's franchised and everything that's quote unquote, by the book and in the box. And there's a lot of banks there. Whereas in Michigan, we have a lot more self-employed businesses here. We have a lot more, you know, restaurants that are family owned, and it's a completely different mindset. But
Mhm.
once I started with a few people in California, it just flowed.
Yeah.
And now I'm hoping to do the same thing here in Michigan. I'm hoping to be able to get the word out in Michigan. And one thing that I have found is it's really important to have them go through the program,
Hmm.
because the problem that we find as realtors is we want to help, we want to help, we want to help. And I've made this mistake. I was myself negotiating people's debt down. And what happens is when something goes wrong, everybody knows it. When
Hmm.
something goes good, a few people know it. When something goes wrong in the eyes of the people that we're trying to help, they want to say, "Oh, you didn't do this or you didn't do that." And what actually is happening is they didn't follow through with this, or they didn't
Yeah.
follow through with that, or
Yeah.
they heard what they wanted. Now, going through the program, everything is documented so that if somebody were to come back to you and say, "Oh, this didn't happen or that didn't happen," you have a resource. You can come back and you can say, "What happened with my client?" And we can show you that if it's our fault, everybody's human, of course. Okay, it was our fault, and we will, of course, apologize and do whatever we can to rectify it. But in the
Yeah.
end, we're able to show you that it was your client not being able to follow through. So it keeps
Yeah.
your reputation
Yeah.
intact,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't wanna get involved in someone else's financial matters.
Oh, I did it.
That's not what we do as real estate agents, and if you're a real
Mhm.
estate agent out there that's taking that level of liability or risk for your
Correct.
reputation, your business, your broker's reputation and their business, and liability that brings to that brokerage, right? You don't wanna be involved in that, so you wanna have professionals handle what professionals do, and you wanna stay to your lane, and you're not gonna have someone else do your negotiation or show your houses or
Correct.
write your deals, right? As a realtor. So where do you see the future of creative financing, or with with everything that's happening? What are the opportunities and threats with the real estate industry? Where it's heading to with the settlements, with everything, and especially with the evolving, let's call it evolving economic situation condition that we are in. What are the opportunities and threats that realtors need to leverage, consumers need to leverage with debt management, with debt settlement, with alternative financing?
Well, I think the good thing is that alternative financing is becoming more abundant and people are more aware of it. Where we really need to focus is how do we help people not face bankruptcy? How
Hmm.
do we help people not go further underwater and
Yeah.
have judgments placed on them and have, their wages being garnished. I
Yeah.
think the important thing now is to learn what is debt relief, what is debt settlement, and how quickly should we be enrolling in it,
Hmm.
and how quickly we should be getting our clientels to enroll in it. Because unfortunately, one day in the eyes of credit is like equal to, 3 weeks by the time it hits the credit report, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
to update. So we
Hmm.
definitely want to get enrolled as fast as we can, and we want to get our debt and our credit under control as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think it comes from I guess place of really caring for people that you surround yourself with, people that you build relationship with. And if you are going about transactional, you probably end up just focusing on now business anyway. And of course, we have already discussed, if you're just focused in now business, using your example, last year they would have left 80 to $100,000 on the table of people that they could take care of, right? So I think you definitely have to come from a place of caring and helping really helping people, and not just like, oh, I'm helping people by selling them houses, right? It's really, taking help, looking out for their best financial interests. And in return, you make money. In return, you build a business, right? And in return, you have a business that is future proof. You have future deals in the pipeline. Now, finally, what advice would you give to realtors looking to incorporate, creative financing, debt management into their services to better assist their clients and grow their business?
Feel free to reach out to me. I can take time with you and educate you on it. In the meantime, we'll be working on making some educational videos. I know with you and on my own. We're going
Hmm.
to try and make it very abundant and obtainable for the agents so
Yeah.
they can figure out what to do quickly.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's a few simple steps that can
Yeah.
make such a big difference in your income
Hmm.
and
And
your
and
sphere of influence.
For sure. And we talk about this inside of our academy, is to build those strategic relationships and partnerships where there are others like yourself who are helping consumers out there get to that home ownership. And these partnerships are very, very valuable. Working with you, if you're a realtor out there, who I talk to realtors, I know there are realtors out there, I talk to realtors all the time. They're talking about, oh, I have a sphere of influence base that not a lot of people qualify for home ownership. And yes, you could complain about that, or you could focus on what you can control, is to provide resources and education in front of your potential clients, and really helping them financially, right? Helping them make the best decision, confident decision, and take action on being prepared to become a homeowner. And that way you would build not only a brand that is sustainable, not only a business that is future proof, not only a solid referral source, right, but also leveraging Nicole, reach out to her. She's on social media. She's on Facebook. She'll be tagged on this video. If you want to make this part of your services that you provide, if you are servicing a client base that is running into financial hurdles, it's a no-brainer not to no have that relationship with Nicole. Now, thank you, Nicole, for all the value that you have brought. There is a lot of value for real estate agents to understand. If they were to become, less transactional and more transformational when it comes to providing services, they will have a more solid business. And issues like NAR settlement and challenges in the marketplace or the industry may not phase you so much, because you have the support from all the people that you have helped. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Nicole. Thanks for everything. Thanks for your time. We
Thank
will
you so
definitely
much.
do more trainings on this in the future. This is more just for our podcast, just to have that conversation. But we are definitely going to come out with master classes for real estate agents, understanding debt settlement, understanding debt management, understanding how to consolidate debts. So obviously, you're not going to go ahead and do it, but it's very important for you to know that knowledge, so that way you can guide your people. When you connect them with Nicole, they would actually take action on what they need to do to prepare for home ownership. Again, this episode was sponsored by Boss Agents Academy. where we help agents and brokers reach more people, change more lives, and create freedom. Thank you, Nicole. I'm looking forward to
Thank you.
our next episode. Thank you.